Managing major disruption. In this presentation, we will outline how we understand constant disruption and analysis of the behaviour using the ABC model and FBA, and how we implement and evaluate strategies and their effectiveness.
Our student is Liam. He is a bright and restless student who struggles to stay focused. He frequently disrupts lessons by seeking attention, challenging instructions, and distracting peers.
In the year 2000, Nelson and Robert defined constant disruption as an ongoing and often unstoppable sequence of disruptive behaviours. Constant disruption is more than a one-off incident, rather it is a sustained pattern of challenging and often defiant behaviour. Castro et al. 2024 explains this behaviour significantly hinders the normal flow of teaching and learning activities in the classroom.
Sociocultural influences. Behaviour may reflect learnt norms from home or peer groups, including responses to authority, communication styles, or attitudes towards school. Emotional and trauma-based responses. Some students act out due to stress, unmet needs, or past experiences. Behaviour can be a communication or underlying anxieties or frustrations. Classroom environment. Factors such as seating arrangements, unclear routines, or inconsistent expectations can reinforce disruptive behaviours. Teacher-student relationships. A lack of positive, supportive connection may increase off-task behaviour, whereas strong relationships tend to buffer disruptions and build cooperation. Academic struggles. Impact students' engagement, self-esteem, and avoidance of failure and work. By acknowledging these factors, we can avoid labelling students as problematic and instead approach behaviours management through a preventative, rational, and inclusive lens.
The ABC model breaks down the context of a repeated behaviour. The model is broken down into 3 sections to enhance our understanding of the cause and effect of the student's behaviour. Dr. Karen Oakley in Module 4.2 by UC described A as the antecedent. In this part, we describe what happens in detail, who was involved, were there any potential triggers, and how did the student behave earlier in the day. In the second section, B for behaviour, we describe what the behaviour was, who it was directed towards, and when/where did this behaviour happen. In the final part of the model, C, consequence, we talk about what occurred for the child to stop the behaviour. The first recorded instance in an ABC model was on the 25th of August at 9:30 a.m. The student was calling out over the teacher and asking why he should be completing the work. The second recorded instance was on the following day at 10 a.m, where the student was refusing to participate in the test and distracting others from doing so, but constantly yelling, invading other students' personal space, and fidgeting. The child was removed from the room to prevent further distracting the class. The third instance was on the following day, and the student refused to engage in independent inquiry learning. In conclusion, the ABC model highlighted the child's repeated behaviours and how they continue to occur with our current corrective strategies. The model emphasises the type of activity having an impact on the behaviour, as independent work as a trigger for non-compliant behaviour. The child constantly showing signs of refusal, as well as constant class disruption and avoidance of independent class work. The behaviour is constant no matter the staff members present and the classmates present or the environment that the child is in, and the behaviour escalates as the child is encouraged to participate in the assigned work. Our overall hypothesis behind his behaviour is that he is struggling to complete their work academically and is using refusal and disruption to avoid engaging in the classwork.
Alright class, I'm going to work you through our next worksheet. So we're going to be talking about our story that we've been reading in class. So first we are going to be talking about our characters in the story. Alright, so the characters, these are the people or the animals that we see in the story.
But Miss, who,
After we talk about the characters,
is.
remember Liam, quiet while the teacher's talking. Alright, the next we're going to talk about is the setting, so where the story took place. So the places that they might have gone. Alright, then after that we're going to be talking about the plot. Alright, which is what happens in the story. Alright, Liam, remember, quiet while the teacher's talking. I'll just get you to sit behind Alexa, please. Thank you. Alright, so we're going to be talking about the plot, so that the events that happen in the story, so the beginning, the middle, and the end. Alright, so we really want you to think about what happened in the story. Then, after that, we're going to be working through the problem. So what was the problem in the story? Okay, Liam, turn around please, eyes here. Thank you. Alright, so what went wrong in the story?
Miss, I don't know what went wrong.
After that, we're going to be talking about the solution.
What's the solution?
Liam, be quiet while we're in the
Well, I
classroom.
don't care. I'm leaving.
Liam.
FBA stands for Functional Behaviour Assessment, and FBA is a process of gathering information to determine why certain behaviours occur. New South Wales Education 2025 states this process provides a foundation for the development of behaviour support plans and allows teachers and educators to implement strategic interventions. Scott and Camps 2007 explained FBA is a systematic method for generating information on the events preceding and following a behaviour to help determine what events are associated with the behaviour's occurrence. Teachings in Education 2017 explains the purpose of an FBA is to determine the function and reasons behind a student's behaviour. FBAs are intended to implement long-lasting effects and produce a long-term behaviour change. It is an essential component for positive behaviour support. An effective FBA will address the following elements. Number 1. Identifying the behaviour. The behaviour that is observed must be defined in measurable and observable terms. The teachers will evaluate the behaviour by frequency or intensity. Number 2. Collect data to determine the function of the behaviour. Number 3. Formulate a hypothesis based on typical patterns. And number 4. Create a behaviour intervention plan, or a BPI. And number 5. Implement and monitor the plan and see the effectiveness or the impact the plan has made on the targeted behaviour. An effective FBA will have the support team of adults including teachers, parents or guardians and other required professionals. Preventive and corrective strategies. Kyle and Rogan, 2004, explained preventive strategies in classroom management are proactive measures designed to eliminate problems before they occur. These strategies are crucial for long-term success and reduce the need for short-term corrective interventions. The preventive strategies we will implement will be clarifying expectations and planning and preparation. Clarifying expectations. This strategy will outline to both the student and parents what the expectations in the classroom are and the consequences for certain behaviours. This fosters a cooperative working environment. Planning and preparation. This will involve having the classroom LSA available to assist the student with their work. By having materials ready specifically aligning with the student's level of academic development, he will feel more confident when completing his work. He will also have the option of assistance from the LSA. Corrective strategies. Carl and Rogan 2004 explained corrective strategies are practical interventions designed to address student misbehaviour at the moment it occurs. Corrective strategies are necessary short-term solutions for when issues arise inevitably. These strategies require teachers to recognise the type of misbehaviour and determine the suitable intervention that can be applied. Our chosen corrective strategies will include a chill-out time and following the Amaru School PBL. Chill-out time. This is a pre-arranged place and process for a student to calm down when feeling out of control and defiant. This helps students recognise and manage their feelings and regulate themselves without further disruptions to the class. Working through Amaru School PBL tiers. By using the Amaru School PBL framework, behaviours will be met with expected consequences. By moving through the 3 tiers, the student and teacher will both have a shared understanding of how behaviours will be managed in the classroom. In this video, we can see the behaviour is calling out and distracting other kids with a pen. The teacher gives a non-verbal warning to begin with. The calling out continues, so the teacher follows with a verbal warning. Continuing the disruptive behaviour, the student is then seen to be distracting other students. The teacher then asks the student to move to sit in a different place, but the disruptions continue and escalate. The behaviour itself is minor behaviour, but frequency and duration is intense, making it highly disruptive to the rest of the class. Research shows disruptive behaviours often negatively affect school performance, academic planning, and learning performance levels. Castro et al. 2024. From collecting data, discussing with the student one-on-one, and observing the student through the ABC model, we understand the student is struggling academically and finds the work more challenging than his peers. From this analysis, we are able to create and implement a customized BPI for the student, discussing with parents about specific strategies to manage the student behaviour and agree on ways to implement both preventative and corrective strategies.
To address Liam's disruptions, our group has chosen to use the Behaviour Management Framework, BMF, grounded in Positive Behaviour of Learning, BPL, specifically the MRU School Model, Safe, Respectful, Responsible Learners. Tiered support in 3 levels. Tier 1, whole school universal expectations and proactive teaching of routines. Tier 2, targeted support for at-risk students through small group interventions or check-ins. Tier 3, intensive individualised strategies for persistent or escalated behaviours. Preventative focus. Instead of reacting to behaviours with punishment, example removing recess, the BMF emphasises recorrection, explicit teaching of expected behaviours, and reinforce of positive expectations. Relational and strength-based. By modelling high expectations and reinforcing positive behaviour, the framework promotes equality, consistency, and community well-being. Linked to practice. In Liam's case, if preventative strategies like sticker charts or non-verbal cues are ineffective, the behaviour would move up through the framework to more targeted innovations, ensuring the student is supported rather than excluded. Introducing the BMF here allows us to show how behaviour management is not just about immediate classroom control and implement school-wide practices that support safe and engaging learning environments.
Understanding class disruption and distraction. It is very important to have clarity on the definition of distraction and disruption. Distraction is an action in which someone cannot focus on something else. Class disruption is any behaviour by a student or peer that interrupts and interferes with the learning of others. To understand the behaviours that are taking place in the classroom, you must consider minor examples of disruption. The Positive Classroom Management Strategies Guide from the Victoria Department of Education discusses the inappropriate behaviours in classroom settings, such as arriving late to class, whispering or talking over the top of people, or constant tapping, as well as the moderate behaviours such as using a phone incorrectly or refusing to follow instructions. Lastly, major behaviours might include shouting, fighting, or any physical violence in the classroom. The Amaru PBL, Positive Behaviour for Learning, is an evidence-based school-wide approach that supports student behaviour to improve social and academic outcomes for all students. Framework creates a safe, inclusive, and supportive school environment. It promotes both academic success and social-emotional development, helping students understand expectations and make positive choices. The PBL provides diverse academic and social support, ensuring every student receives a guidance of what they need to succeed. For this PBL, collaboration is crucial. Between teachers, students, and parents, they all work together to identify challenges and develop strategies to support positive behaviour strategies. This PBL is also based off problem solving and strengthens relationships and ensures interventions are effective. This PBL also reinforces social expectations and that are impactful to the school community. It demonstrates a framework for all students and community and supports the well-being of everyone.
The Amaru strategy targets 80% of students through the first tier, aiming to target the behaviour at the early signs. This includes the child's non-compliance, disruption, and disengagement in lessons. The strategy can then be easily followed to the second tier stage if the behaviour continues to escalate. In the second tier, the behaviour has transitioned to a major behaviour and actions are enforced. This includes our use of classroom support staff and loss of privileges. Then their behaviour would then escalate to a third tier, where staff are experiencing verbal abuse from the child and executive staff become involved and parents are contacted. The weakness of this framework is the fact that it is reliable on staff availability. If a classroom support assistant or an exec cannot come to support, the framework cannot be implemented effectively. This means that there isn't a plan in place for when the student's behaviour is escalating and the staff cannot come to support. Another weakness is the fact that the tier of behaviours are up to the teacher's interpretation, meaning they could be inconsistent results leading to unreliable recording of the incident.